Uthark strid kengi fivinya hagel naurissi ora pertra Algiz soltyr bjerka maderlagu ingoda lages fe. Algiz soltyr. Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Koala and this is my little nook in this end of the universe that we call YouTube. I am a shamanic practitioner mainly within Nordic shamanism, and I'm here today to continue our journey through the Uthark. Part 4 out of 6 if I don't misremember things. So today I will be talking about Eihwaz, Algiz, Sowelo and Tiwaz. Names that I am not really comfortable with because I usually use their Swedish names, as you might have guessed from the sounding of the runes that I did just now. So, in this video I will talk about what they have in common, all of these 4 runes as a group. I will talk about the number magic, and I will then talk about what I felt when I meditated with these runes as a group. And then I will talk a little bit about the unique aspects of each and every rune of these 4. And yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So, the first thing that I think that these runes have in common, I want to say that 3 of them have it in common mostly. And then one is, you know, you can always find things that the runes have in common and that every rune have in common. But there's one rune of these 4 that I think stands a bit outside of it. So what they have in common is a spiritual aspect. And the one that I put a little bit to the side is Soul or Sowelo, which doesn't really have that kind of spiritual aspect that I'm gonna talk about in a minute, but it does have a spiritual aspect in the sense that this is the rune for life force, for what in other traditions and other spiritual practices is called everything from ki or prana or reiki. So this is the rune for that force, I would say, the life force within us. So it's kind of a spiritual aspect, but what I mean when I say spiritual aspect is really that Eihwaz or Eo, for example, has a connection to the land spirits by being the rune of the plant people. So it's the rune of the plant people, it's the rune of the trees, and I usually say that this is the rune for everything between heaven and earth. So we have Bjerka or Berkana that I'm gonna talk about in my next video. That is kinda everything that is from the grounds, like the crust of the ground and the soil down. And then we have this rune, Eihwaz or Eo, that is everything between the roots and the treetops. So this includes the spirits of the trees, the spirits of every single plant and their medicine. And then we have Algiz, who has the same kind of connection to animals. So mainly wild animals. We find our domesticated animals in the last rune of the Uthark, Fehu, that I'm going to talk about in part 6. So with Algiz we have the spirits of the animals and also animal spirits and power animals and everything like that. So and of course that adheres to all animals, including those below ground and in the skies. And then we have Tyr or Tiwaz, that is a spiritual rune in the sense that it's the spiritual warrior. So this is the warrior rune with emphasis on the spiritual warrior. So this is a rune that you can embody, or what the energy that you can channel if you are going into the dream time, for example, to really make a difference. This is one of the runes that I work with Seder, because with this rune I can really embody my own inner spiritual warrior and go everywhere in the cosmos, in the 9 worlds, and also in the astral plane of this world, and make a difference with that warrior spirit. So yeah, the next thing that these runes have in common is all 4 runes, and here I'm gonna reference the number magic. So with the number magic, all of these runes have the 1 in common, because I'm gonna go into the number magic of these runes now, okay? So I'm gonna do that now. So the numbers for these 4 runes are 13, 14, 15 and 16. So each of these 4 runes have the number 1 in common, which is Ur or Uruz, with the ancient power, or like the inner power. Ur means ancient. Like in Sweden we have a lot of word with that, with, you know, those 2 letters in front of other things to make up words. Like ursprung is where you come from, where you are originally from, like way back. And then we have urkraft, which is the word that we connect with this rune, and that is power that is so ancient and deep that it's almost older than the universe. So it's that maybe commonality of like origin and the original power, and it's so raw power, which means that all of these 4 runes have that in common. They have this raw power in common in one way or another. And for Eo or Eihwaz, I say that has to do with this being the rune for the tree of life, and for that ancientness within that. Like imagine a forest, and there's like a mother tree in the forest. This is, you know, science have been catching up to this, that every piece of land has one tree that is kind of the mother tree that brings in the energy from the others when needed, and then also disperse it between the other trees. No regards to the species of the trees. They're like a herd of trees anyway. They're like a family, but that power, that raw power, comes in, I think, there. And then with Algiz we have the raw power in the protective aspect of this rune, as well as with the power animals, I would say. And then we have Sowelo. We have the life force that is in and of itself an ancient raw power. And then we have Tiwaz, that I think is the one that really uses and utilizes this raw force when we talk about the warrior in this rune. So then of course when it comes to the number magic of these runes, they have different aspects that is connected to the 3, the 4, the 5 and the 6, and I'm not going to go into that just now. I will share a video on my Patreon in December, so if you want to find out more, go to my Patreon, be a member at the tier of Curious, and you have that to look forward to. I will have an in-depth video on that subject for each and every rune, and I will also go a little bit into life runes or birth runes in that video. So the last aspect that I think that these runes have in common is their place in creation, and this is to sustain life. So, okay, bear with me now. This isn't as far-fetched as it might seem at the first glance, but yeah. So, all of these runes have something to do with sustaining life on Earth. So, when it comes to Eihwaz or Eihwaz, it's the plants. When it comes to Algiz, it's the animals. And then when it comes to Sowelo, it's the sun and the life force that we get from the sun, the energy that we get from the sun. And then we have Tiwaz, which is the rune for the Sky Father, that protects us all, and that you know, brings everything from rain to sunshine to everything, depending on the weather and climate and that sort of thing. So and that shields us also from the toxic elements of the different layers of the atmosphere and stratosphere and all of that stuff. So they all sustain life and have their part in the balance of life. Of course, when I talk about the plants and the animals, I talk about them having their place in the chain of life, you know, that animals and humans eat plants and then other animals eat animals, etc, etc. So they have the place in the creation story and the purpose to sustain life. And then I meditated with these runes, and what I felt and saw was that I could really feel the tree of life, being one with the tree of life, with Eo or Eihwaz, and sitting underneath the canopy of that tree with the roots, and I could really feel that. And then I felt the animals, I could hear them chirping, and I could hear them, you know, around me and in the tree. And then I could feel the sun on my face, and I looked up towards the sky and the Sky Father, and you know, I was in the middle world of the 9 worlds. I was in the middle world of Mannheim when I could really feel all of this. So yeah, that's what I felt when I meditated with them. I got just zoomed into the middle world, and I felt so at home. I felt so cared for. I felt so held. So now I'm going to talk about the unique aspects of each and every rune. And remember, there are so many aspects to each and every rune, and these are just a few of them, and I also don't go really into depth with them. This is like a taste, and I hope to inspire you to want to know more about the runes. And follow me, like and subscribe and all that. So with Eo or Eihwaz, I would say the aspect that I have chosen is that it is the map of cosmos. So this is the rune that we journey with when we explore the map of the cosmos via the runes. So the different worlds have runes attached to them and that describes them. Like I was talking about Mannheim, or I think someone will also say Midgard. Midgård is a Swedish word. Midgard or Middle Earth maybe, but I think Middle Earth has been kind of appropriated by a certain author. So I don't really what's the word, connect that to the runes anymore, and to my work with the runes, the term Middle Earth, even though I could. So Midgård or Mannheim are the words that I use, and in English it's still Mannheim, but it could also be Midgard. But Gard is just removing the little dot above the A that it makes the O. So anyway, it's the map of cosmos. And then we have Algiz, which is the only one of these that is directly connected to the third eye. So when I work with this rune, I work a lot with the third eye, and I work with animal communication and with my intuition in different ways. So it's a very multifaceted rune, they all are. And then we have Sol or Sowelo, which is the only one of these 4 runes that is connected to a certain goddess. In my opinion, as I have been talking about in my previous videos where I mentioned goddesses, it's up to each and every one, but this is the rune that has like a goddess attached to it, and that is the sun goddess Sunna, that we celebrate during the summer solstice. So we are about soon to celebrate the winter solstice, but 6 months from now we will be celebrating Sunna. So the last rune, Tiwaz, is the warrior, and the unique aspect of this rune is that it is it's the I don't want to say this in a bad way, and I don't really know the English words for it, because the Swedish word I want to use is dumdristig, but in English that will be maybe idiotic, or it's like an aspect to a person. You could say that one that takes a lot of risks are dumdristig. Dum means stupid. Dristig means probable to act. So it's like it's a person that will probably act stupid. If there's like 2 choices, they would probably act stupid. Or if someone offers them something and they just jump for it, they're spontaneous and they don't think before they act. It's like that sense of stupidity that comes before the frontal vortex is that a word? Before the brain is developed, you know, fully developed. So is that aspect, because Tyr was the god that in the Norse pantheon that was tricked by Loki to put his hand in the mouth of the Fenrir, which resulted in him getting his hand bitten off. And he was just completely fooled by that. And it's that we're like, yeah, what you're saying sounds plausible in the moment. I'll take you up on it, and then just zoom. And, you know, no thought beforehand of the consequences of that. So, and this is a part of Tiwaz that relates to the number magic again, number 16, which 1 + 6 = 7, which is the rune of the child. So it's part of that childlike innocence that this rune possesses. And with that said, this is it for this time. I will see you next week, and I will end this video by thanking all of my patrons. And as I said before, I will never put the names of my patrons on my videos, because I value the community and I value everyone's anonymity. And that is a part of why I wanted to start a Patreon, to get this shamanic community that where everyone feels safe, so a safe space. So I thank every one of my Patreons on the free tier, on the tier of Curious, and the ones that wants to join the tier Apprentice. If you want to learn more about runes, join my Apprentice tier after New Year's, or before that, but the course will start on the full moon of January. So I will see you there, I will see you here. Until next time, walk in beauty. Shingling.